Om Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. My salutations to the Sadguru, the enlightened Master who bestows upon us the highest wisdom of Atma Gnana, self-realization, which liberates us from all bondage and suffering. My pranams to all. Shuddha Brahma Paratpara Rama Kalatmaka Parameshwara Rama. Today is day 9 and also Ramanavami. Wish you all a very happy Ramanavami. Let us continue our contemplation on the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita. We will look at the overview of chapter 6 today. Chapter 6 is Dhyana Yoga. So what does Sri Krishna Bhagavan say about Dhyana? What is Dhyana Yoga? And how do we do Dhyana? What is Dhyana first of all? Dhyana means meditation. So we have heard the word Dhyana, we have heard the word meditation, we've heard about various practices that are taught popularly as meditation. And there are different kinds of meditation. What is the importance of meditation? Is it important first of all? Should we do meditation? How should we do it? And what is the result that it brings? Again, to take us back to the focus, the spiritual focus is Atma Gnana, self-realization. So if there is any prescription, any meditation, any practice, dhyana, it is again something that will lead us towards realizing our true nature, which is Atma, which is pure consciousness. So what is the meditation for realizing your own true nature? How can you meditate on yourself? How can you meditate on your inner self? So the meditation, dhyana, has two parts, two aspects. One part is focused on silencing the mind, making the mind peaceful, free from thoughts and agitations and conceptualization. Otherwise, the mind is constantly moving, constantly thinking. Arjuna also mentions in this chapter the fickleness of the mind, how the mind keeps jumping and he's not able to hold it steady, he's not able to control it. So one aspect is first silencing of the mind. Dhyana is prescribed as silencing of the mind to make the mind calm and silent. Just the way when you have a deep sleep, a relaxation, you feel refreshed and the mind has become deeply silent. You have temporarily for 20 to 30 minutes you have gone into deep sleep. You've become free from all your troubles. Your body has relaxed. You're in a state of deep relaxation that rejuvenates you again to take up action, work and face the next day. Is that all that is possible for us? Is there no other form of relaxation where we can be aware and be relaxed? So the process of meditation is to be in a state like deep sleep, but in the waking condition. You are fully aware, unlike in deep sleep when you lose your awareness, you fall into sleep, you go into dreams, and then finally you go into deep sleep and you come back from that. Is there a way that we can do it? We can have more mastery over this process where you can operate or go in and come out, to go into a state of relaxation and come out of it and again operate in the world, or to have more control over this. This is the process of dhyana, the first part, wherein The practices help you to relax, be aware, sit in silence, get clarity of thought, become peaceful, become free from thoughts eventually, and then operate from that state. The second aspect, the second part of dhyana is what is called in Vedanta as nidhyasa. To sit, not for, not to become, of course, to make the mind silent, but that is not the main focus. To transcend the mind, to sit, transcend the mind, and establish in the self. To go to the root of the thought. In one part, you are using a practice and diverting the thousands of thoughts to probably a one thought, maybe the thought of the breath, or the thought of of one sensation of the body, or the thought of a deity, or the thought of a mantra. So you're shifting, you're taking all the thoughts and directing it to one thought. In the second part of dhyana, you go to the root of thought. To whom does this thought arise? Who is getting this thought? When the mind is questioned, when the root is inquired, then the thoughts disappear. So, Sri Krishna prescribes Dhyana Yoga to silence the mind and later to transcend the mind. So, initially he prescribes the practice. How should one do dhyana? Bhagavan says, you must get a clean and isolated place so that there's no disturbance. Otherwise, the mind again moves outward, it gets distracted. Find an isolated place, sit comfortably without strain. Otherwise, again, the mind will get distracted with the pain of the body. Sit comfortably and have your back straight, spine erect. Close your eyes and focus on the higher center, which is the center of the forehead, which in the yogic language is called as Agna Chakra, the higher center, Agna. Then we have two higher centers, the Agna and the Sahasrara. So these are the centers that help us connect with the divine energy and divinity. So becoming aware of this center and holding that awareness, he says, just the way a lamp doesn't, the flame doesn't shake of a lamp in a place where there's no wind, it is still. That is the way your mind should be, still. As long as you can become aware of the center of your forehead and sit silently. This calms the mind. This retains your awareness, doesn't allow you to fall into sleep or any other dull state. So you're focused, you're aware, and the mind is silent. And the thoughts settle down. Just allow the mind to settle down. This is called dhyana, without forcing it, just allowing it. There is a story in the life of Buddha as how he taught meditation. Buddha and his close disciple, who was also his relative Ananda, were traveling one day from one place to another, and in the middle of the journey, Buddha asked Ananda, "I am very thirsty, please bring me some water." Ananda goes to a nearby pond to fetch some water, but as he tries to take the water to bring it to Buddha, there's a cart that passes by and splashes a lot of mud onto the pond, and the water becomes muddy. He comes back to Buddha and says, "I'm really sorry, the water now is you cannot drink that water." Buddha says, "It's fine, we'll wait for some time." They wait for 10 to 15 minutes, and Buddha asks Ananda again, "Please go and check now." When Ananda goes to the pond, he sees that the mud has settled down, and the water is clear again. He brings the water back to Buddha. Buddha says, this is exactly how our mind works. It is muddy because of our interaction with the world. And each interaction further disturbs the mind. Every interaction takes the mind more outward and makes it more disturbed. You're constantly adding mud to the mind, constantly agitating it, constantly disturbing it, constantly giving information, constantly looking at stimulants, constantly giving stimulant to the body, constantly giving stimulant to the mind. You're feeding it constantly. And we know when you overfeed the body, the digestion becomes difficult. If you overfeed the mind, entire life becomes difficult. So just allow the mind to settle. Simplest process of meditation. Just watch. Allow it to settle down on its own. The more you force, the more it will retaliate. So Sri Krishna tells a shloka, Yuktahara viharasya yukta chestasya karmasu yukta swapnavabodhasya yogo bhavati dukkha. How does this path bring us peace? Everything in moderation, everything naturally, nothing forced. Yuktahara vihara, even food, the physical food and the mental food in moderation. Everything in moderation. Sleep, not too much sleep, not too much food, not too much meditation, not too much entertainment. Everything, have everything, but in moderation. The more if you give something too much, the system breaks. If you give something too less, the system breaks. Is there a middle path? That's what Buddha called as the middle path. When Buddha was practicing before the enlightenment, he was straining the body too much. One day he saw a man tuning his musical instrument, the strings of the musical instrument. When he tightened too much, the string snapped. When he kept it too loose, there's no music possible. It had to be at the right, the tuning had to be right, frequency had to be right. So your body and mind is such an instrument. It is an instrument, that which you use. And any instrument, if it's overused or underused, not used properly, starts giving trouble. So dhyana is like the servicing of this instrument. You have to do periodic servicing for the instrument. You have to take care of it. So for the body, we now know what has become popular as fasting. Is a great servicing for the body. It detoxes the body. You're constantly giving it food, give it some break. Dhyana, relaxation, cutting off the stimulants to the mind is also a way to stop the mind losing its balance. So the prescription of Sri Krishna is Yuktahara viharasya, everything in moderation, and include within that moderation the process of dhyana, the process of silencing of the mind initially. Later Sri Krishna goes on to tell the process of realizing the self. But before he goes on to that point, Arjuna brings up this question. He says, Sri Krishna, I understand what you're saying, but this is too hard for me. My mind is too fickle, it's too restless. There's no way I can control it or make it to sit this way that you're saying and focus. Sri Krishna tells it is possible. Yes, I understand it's difficult, but with abhyasa, with practice, it is possible. Just the way the day that you probably join a gymnasium or a gym, you cannot lift very heavy weights. It requires some training, some practice. Just the way you decide to start running, you can't run the first day to a far distance. It needs practice. in the same way. Just the way everything in life needs practice, dhyana also needs practice. The dhyana needs practice for silencing of the mind. But for transcending the mind, it's not a question of practice. It's a question of jnana. From gnana comes dhyana, the true dhyana, which is transcending of the mind. The teaching of Atmagnana immediately silences the mind and helps the mind become established in the self. This is the second part that Sri Krishna tells. Yoginam api sarvesham madgate nantaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam same yuktato momataha. How to merge with me, how to merge with the divine, how to merge into the self. The mind merges into the self when it constantly contemplates on the teachings of the self, Atmagnana. So by listening to the Sri teachings, the process of Shravana, Manana, the meditation on the teaching, the contemplation, and Nididhyasa. Nididhyasa means to firmly hold one single thought of the teaching of Atmagnana. This brings the merger with the infinite. Just the way a salt doll trying to find its source goes to the ocean, and when it enters the ocean, it merges into the ocean. There is no more salt doll that remains, the ocean alone remains. The same way, the individual who enters deep within the heart, trying to find a source, his or her source, the I, merges into the pure I, pure consciousness, Brahman. This is the way. Dhyana is of two types. The dhyana is to silence the mind. Dhyana is to transcend the mind. The dhyana is the path of, it's a middle path, it's a path of moderation. It's a path of detox. It's a path of withdrawal. It's the path of isolation. It's the path of becoming relaxed, deeply relaxed, but fully aware. It's not a state of trance. It's not an alternate state. It's a very grounded state. It's to be very grounded, very silent, very fully aware. And seeing that when the mind and the body are silent, the self reveals itself. You are not able to see Bhagwan, consciousness, or experience the peace because the mind is constantly agitated. Just allow it to settle down and the truth will reveal itself. This is the some of the main points outlined in Dhyana Shloka, in Dhyana Yoga. And as a practice, Sri Krishna prescribes the becoming aware of the center of the forehead, sitting in isolation, sitting silently, sitting with the back straight, and becoming aware of the center of the forehead, and just allowing the mind to settle down, become deeply silent, and experience the bliss of the self. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.